employs thousands and thousands of actors and actresses, and I'm sure that, most of them, if not all, have made statements in the last week lamenting.
Rachel Zegler is in shambles as Brett Cooper has officially stepped into the legendary role of Snow White, completely eclipsing her in ratings. In a move no one saw coming, Brett Cooper, the bold conservative voice from the Daily Wire, has taken on the iconic part, sending social media into a frenzy. And let's be honest, fans are overwhelmingly siding with Brett, and it's not hard to see why. Originally cast as Snow White, Zegler had a vision, but let's just say it wasn't exactly what audiences wanted. Her bold reimagining of the beloved fairy tale scrapped the timeless romance, erased the prince, and reinvented the classic story into something unrecognizable. No prince, no rescue, no happily ever after. Just a modernized, independent take that shattered the nostalgia fans held so dearly. For generations, Snow White has been a magical love story, a dreamy escape into romance, adventure, and fairy tale wonder. But when Zegler's version removed the prince, rewrote the narrative, and ignored the essence of the original, it felt like a slap in the face to fans who cherished the classic tale. Now, with Brett Cooper stepping in and bringing back the magic that audiences actually wanted, the internet is making its opinion loud and clear. Rachel Zegler's take, rejected, Brett Cooper's, celebrated, and the whirlwind of drama surrounding it, only getting wilder by the day.
Is the queen of controversy. She even has articles trying to document all of her different scandals, and that doesn't even have all of them. How Disney Snow White star went from Hollywood's newest darling to the film industry.
Passionately declaring, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Fans are standing their ground. But wait, the controversy doesn't stop there. Let's talk about the Seven Dwarfs. Or should we even call them dwarfs anymore? Disney decided to overhaul this aspect as well. Instead of casting little people to bring these beloved characters to life, they opted for a diverse cast of taller actors. That's right, the dwarfs aren't dwarfs anymore. This change was influenced in part by Peter Dinklage, a well-known advocate for representation who criticized the original story for its outdated portrayal. Fearing backlash, Disney pivoted hard, hoping this new approach would help them avoid controversy. Instead, fans were outraged. They argued that these changes stripped away the charm of a story they've loved for generations. Many pointed out that Disney had a golden opportunity. They could have elevated 7 lesser-known actors, literally giving little people a shot at the spotlight. These roles could have been career-defining for little people in Hollywood. Instead, Disney's move felt like exclusion disguised as progress. Let's circle back to Snow White herself. Disney's choice to cast Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress, stirred up its own wave of debate. While some hailed it as a win for diversity, others weren't as enthusiastic. Snow White's identity has always been tied to her iconic description, changing. That struck a nerve with fans who felt the character was being altered beyond recognition. And just when it seemed like the storm might settle, leaked set pictures surfaced online. Disney's PR team scrambled, claiming the images were fake, but surprise, they weren't. Fans immediately saw through the denial, and the backlash only grew louder. At this point, it feels like Disney is stumbling from one PR disaster to another. From the missing prince to the non-dwarf dwarfs to the heated debates over casting, this project seems to be trapped in an endless cycle of controversy. The question remains, can Disney turn this sinking ship around, or is this reimagining of Snow White destined for infamy? For generations, Snow White has been a cherished classic, a fairy tale that has stood the test of time. Fans don't just want to watch a movie, they want to feel the magic, the romance, and the whimsy they grew up with. Strip all that away.
And of course, as a few of the cinema-going audience might happen to have dangly bits, it's probably not the best time in the world to start tweeting out, seemingly blaming men for criticizing. You can't criticize!
Alienating the very audience it was meant to captivate, Disney's latest move has only added fuel to the fire. If you thought the drama ended there, think again. In yet another eyebrow-raising decision, Disney has dropped the Seven Dwarfs from the title entirely. That's right. It's no longer Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Now, it's just Snow White, because the remake features only one dwarf character. Naturally, fans are losing their minds over this. Many are asking the obvious question, why even call it Snow White? If you're stripping away everything iconic about the original, it's like ordering a pizza and getting breadsticks instead. Sure, it's still food, but it's not what you signed up for. Disney's reasoning seems to be an attempt to avoid offense, but fans are calling it overcorrection. Critics argue this isn't about being progressive, it's about erasing the charm of a beloved story. The whole situation feels like Disney is walking a tightrope, trying to please everyone, and in the process, pleasing no one. Mark Zuckerberg even chimed in, accusing Disney of being rhetoric-free, sending out vague, meaningless messages, and ultimately losing the magic that made its classics timeless. Rachel Zegler, originally cast as Snow White, didn't stop at removing Prince Charming from the story. She went a step further and called the classic prince a creepy stalker. It's a bold take, flipping the script on what many see as a timeless love story. While some praised her for challenging outdated tropes, others were furious. For many fans, these fairy tales are supposed to be an escape, a beautiful retreat from reality. Turning the prince into a villain felt like ripping apart the dream they've cherished for years.
Just announcing Benkei, we also announced Benkei's first live-action film, which is Snow White and the Evil Queen. And that's me, I'm Snow White.
Brett Cooper wasted no time diving into the drama, making her stance crystal clear. She's all about staying true to the classic love story. No creepy princes, no rewriting history, just the sweet, magical fairy tale that fans grew up loving. Her approach struck a chord with many who felt betrayed by Disney's modern take, which seemed to twist the original tale into something unrecognizable. For those longing for the old-school magic, Cooper's version became a beacon of hope. It was like someone finally saying, "Hey, we get it. You love the original, and we're here to bring it back." Fans who felt like their beloved childhood story had been unfairly criticized saw this as the perfect antidote, but hold on to your tiaras, because things just got even wilder. The Daily Wire didn't just cast Brett Cooper, they're producing their own version of Snow White. That's right, a full-fledged remake that promises to stay faithful to the original fairy tale. Talk about throwing down the gauntlet. So the Impun's move sent shockwaves through Hollywood, sparking a fierce debate over which version will win over audiences. On one side, Disney is pushing an ultra-modern Snow White, ditching the prince and embracing a fresh, progressive spin. On the other, the Daily Wire is doubling down on nostalgia, aiming for a faithful retelling that sticks to classic fairy tale vibes. And here's the plot twist. The rivalry got so intense that Disney decided to delay their movie. Instead of hitting theaters in 2024 as planned, they pushed the release back, leaving everyone wondering if they're rethinking their strategy. So, which Snow White will reign supreme? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. The battle for the fairest of them all has never been this intense.
In boat that Disney and Walt Disney was in 100 years ago, because we are attempting something huge. We're going up against Disney. We have our critics, but we have passion. And
Disney's new Snow White won't be hitting theaters until 2025. That's right, Disney, the entertainment giant, appears to be stepping back, possibly even reconsidering its creative choices. But why the delay? Some believe Disney is trying to avoid a direct box office clash with the Daily Wire's version. Others speculate that after the intense backlash, they're scrambling to adjust their approach. And then there are the wild theories, like the idea that Andy Cohen's speech at the White House dinner in 2023 somehow played a role. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. It's not every day you see a powerhouse like Disney hesitate in the face of competition. And now, fan reactions have turned this into a full-blown fairy tale showdown. Imagine a sports league, but instead of touchdowns and three-pointers, it's princesses and dwarves battling for supremacy. On one side, you have fans supporting Disney's bold changes, arguing that it's time to leave outdated stereotypes behind. Why shouldn't Snow White be her own hero? They ask. To them, this progressive spin is a refreshing modern take that redefines what a fairy tale can be. On the other side, you have die-hard fans rallying behind the Daily Wire's version. For these loyalists, the magic of the original story is sacred and irreplaceable. They want the prince, the dwarfs, and that timeless happily ever after. To them, a faithful retelling is a